All right. Bill, should we have 30? All right. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you all for waiting. I'll call the March 10th, 2026 Somersworth School Board meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Maggie Larson.
Here.
Carrie Clark.
Excused.
Marcia Brown.
Here.
Bridget Jameson.
Here.
Kirsten Gowdy.
Here.
Carly Prescott. Here. Sarah Bryan Hart. Here. Crystal D. St. Croix.
Here.
Patrick Kneve.
Here.
All right. Thank you. Please join me in the pledge. Hello, good evening. Thank you for your patience. Just wanted to start this evening since I was in the traffic on High Street, and just to kind of a thank you to our first responders, to our PD, fire department, and to neighboring first responders and fire departments and police. The response was very quick, and I hope everyone's all right, but it was kind of an unsettling power outage and everything like that. So my thoughts and my gratitude that way. Okay. So at this time, it's any comments by visitors? Yes, of course. Approach the podium, state your name and your ward, and we'd be happy to hear you. I'll just make sure the button is on and the green light is on right here on your mic. There. Perfect.
There we go.
Perfect.
Is that
Hello.
better?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Mary Jane Lavoie, and I've lived in the Cinnamon Ridge development for over 30 years. I think that's Ward 4.
Yes.
And I just wanted to say a quick thank you to everybody for working to make sure that diversity, equity, and inclusion is part of Somersworth's school board, school district, students, faculty, et cetera. It's just very important, and I think it's great that you folks were included to push back against the stoppage of that.
Oh, thank you. All right.
Thank
you for coming up and speaking. Anyone else? Any other comments from visitors, public? All right. Any initial comments by board members? All right. Seeing none, I think we need to accept the consent calendar as presented. Do I have a motion to?
I make a motion to accept the consent calendar items as included in our packet.
Perfect. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion about any items in the packet? All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. Wonderful. All right. Moving on to our reports this evening. We have our student representative report. Thank you for filling in. Is there a report?
Yes.
Wonderful. Take it away.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Just a few updates from the high school. First, Somersworth High School will hold its annual testing day on Wednesday, April 8th. All sophomores will take PSATs and juniors will take SATs. There will be no classes. 9th and 12th graders will not be required to attend. More information will come out in the next few weeks. And then SHS/CTC Semester 2 parent-teacher conferences will be held this Thursday, 3/12, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Somersworth High School. Additional information and sign-up link have been emailed out to the parents and guardians. After an upset win on Saturday, the Somersworth Co-Brown hockey team will face off against Rochester in Final Four on Wednesday evening at 5 p.m. at the Everett Arena in Concord. Good luck to our Bearcats. Speaking of winter sports, the SHS cheer team has had an incredible season, and this past Sunday, they qualified for the state championship by coming in 4th place, and the state finals are scheduled for Thursday at Pinkerton Academy, and the top 5 team will advance to regionals. This Friday is a teacher workshop day. There will be no school for students. SHS staff will be working in department on curriculum and preparing for the new schedule for next year. Students in the National Honor Society will also be offering lunch to staff. In the next few weeks, Somersworth High School will send our first graduation letter home to all class of 2026 families. This letter will provide information about graduation and all of the events and activities leading up to the big day. It will also outline students' responsibilities and expectation for participating in these activities. And finally, the class of 2027 will be hosting its annual prom fashion show on March 27th from 6 to 8 p.m. in the SHS CAF. This is a great fundraising event for the junior class. That's all I have.
Thank you so much. That's great. All right, our city council update, Councilor Alston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just remind people that the initial presentation of the budget to the City Council will occur next Monday at our March 16th meeting, where the city manager will present the proposal. Typically what happens is the council will consider it, do a first and second reading, and then immediately table it. And then what we have planned is a series of workshops throughout the rest of March to talk about various items in the budget. And I bring to your attention the joint City Council and School Board budget meeting that will happen on Tuesday, March 24th at 6 p.m. here at City Hall. Council has decided to do a series of workshops this year instead of doing everything on a Saturday morning like we have been done for a long, long time. And this part might make more sense because it's a more focused discussion for each particular section. So the school's workshop will be again Tuesday, March 24th at 6 o'clock here at City Hall.
Okay,
Thank you.
noted. Thank you for reminding us. I see it here on the Somersworth calendar. I see another one on the 30th for the City Council and Community Support Agencies workshop. So hopefully that works out. Yeah, thank you. All right. We have our business administrator. We have some RFP updates.
Yeah, I don't have a full report tonight. That'll come at your second meeting in March, but we just wanted to give an update. It says 2 RFPs, but there is actually going to be 3. So the first one is for IT services. As you know, our contract with NewView was for 2 years. That's coming to end this year. So we're going to be drafting an RFP to go out hopefully tomorrow for IT services. The second is for copiers. We joined a bidding cooperative with SPC, a company who does cooperative bidding with all school districts and municipalities. So the budget committee is going to be looking at that one on the 24th when we meet. And then the third one is for the camera upgrades that we spoke about the last meeting. We got grant funding for that. It's a requirement for the grant funding that we go out to RFP. So that will also be going out probably by the end of the week. So we just wanted to give you an update on those 3.
Great, thank you. All right, our superintendent's report. Take it away.
I just want to, on Katie's heels, just mention too that we expect that NewView, which is our current provider, would submit a proposal, and we look forward to that. The focus of their work the last couple of years has been on upgrades and updates, and now we're just revisiting what it looks like to maintain and move forward. So we hope to have a healthy process, and given it's about $150,000 of our budget, it certainly merits a good RFP process. Legislative updates and open enrollment next steps I'll put together. There continues to be a significant number of bills in Concord that involve education that are difficult to summarize at each meeting. Some get tabled quickly, some advance. So we're just kind of highlighting ones that, but there's a lot of folks working on this, highlighting the ones of most significance. A reminder that the school board last month voted to send a recommendation to the city council that we declare ourselves an open enrollment school district under current state law, cap exiting students at 0%, and limit entering students to the greatest extent possible, which is basically a loophole in the current law that many districts are taking advantage of, just to say, look, we don't want to participate in this. There will be a public hearing. The city council will bring it forth. Then there'll be a public hearing, and then there'll be a vote at the city council level. In May, I believe. And if I'm correct, Councilor Austin, I believe it'll be the April 6th meeting where the public hearing will occur for open enrollment as well as budget matters.
Typically, that's
Perfect,
correct.
yeah. So we'll make sure folks have a clear understanding of that, and for folks that are interested in this, have concerns about it or for it, just have an opportunity for everybody to understand the mechanics of it. And to be super clear that if and when the state does pass and the governor signs a new open enrollment law that will basically rule what we've done moot. It is just to cover us in the short term. So this is a battle that will continue, whatever your opinions on it, as we kind of work through the best way to do this. Quick budget update is that the budget this year, despite the school care assessment, our administrative team, district team continue to manage things frugally and in the best interest of the community and the school district. And despite a big chunk of money going to school care, a third of the overall assessment, we're in pretty good shape. And we'll continue to work with the city council as we progress forward in terms of getting the school care assessment taken care of. I believe that April 6th may also be the public hearing of the school budget as well at the city council level.
That's also correct.
And we'll, as we have in the past, always encourage folks to concisely and respectfully speak up, whatever your opinions and views, just so that the council has a clear understanding of what folks are concerned about, taxes and school cuts as well. School cancellations and end-of-year update. We'd like to bring forth to the school board. It's a little too early in the season to lock things in, but our thinking at this time is we have 2 student days that have been missed, which we can miss up to 3 and still meet our hourly requirements. But we have 3 teacher contractual days missed. So what we're recommending at this point is, at least in the meantime, we move the last day of the school year from Tuesday, June 16th to Wednesday, June 17th. So it's an extra day for students. And we move the closing teacher workshop day from June 17th to June 18th. We then bump into the Juneteenth holiday, and it is our hope and anticipation that neither students nor staff come back after that 3-day weekend. By bumping things out a day, we get the teachers in line with their contractual obligations, and we increase the cushion to 3 days. So even if we got hit with a blizzard, we should be okay, and that could tentatively be how we wrap up. And I just want to also throw out that Idlehurst and we've worked together, and there's no state issue requirement here. Ending kindergarten 1 day early, whatever the last day is for everybody else, kindergarten would end 1 day early so that teachers can work on student placements coming out of preschool and do that all together is a best way to make sense just overall. And no contractual issues on that or state issues on that one.
Is this for consideration this evening, or should we, I know that our next meeting is the 31st, which is pretty late, so should we kind of put this in under new business to kind of put out into the community now? And
If there's a vote to say tentatively at this time, this is our
Okay.
last day, I'm reluctant to say, hey, now book your travel plans for the very next
Right.
day, because we could get
Okay.
more. But I just wanted to at least get a nod or a vote from the school board to say we're bumping back a day, and then we would have to wait another,
Yeah.
the March meeting, even that, I know a couple of years ago, we had the snowstorm in early April.
Right.
But we should be okay unless it would take 3 days, so.
Yeah, let's just get it on the books
Sure.
under new business, just to say tentatively, just so it's out there, and then, again, I can't even think of snow right now, or another blizzard, but let's put it under 9.3, final day of school, just adjustment to the calendar. Without objection, can I have a quick motion just to add 9.3 adjustment to the calendar?
Make a motion to add under new business for item 9.3, last day of school discussion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All right. Any discussion about this? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thanks, just to get it out there. Appreciate that. Anything else?
Yeah, we have a full agenda tonight, so I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Committee updates. We had a policy meeting yesterday. Board Member Prescott, I'll just say we had 2 policies on for wellness, and the referral of the patriotic exercise back. This is not for first read. This meeting, it will be on our March 31st meeting, but we will get the notes and everything for everyone. I think it was a relatively short meeting, but we discussed that. Any other committee meetings of note? Yes, of course.
I just wanted to remind everybody that tomorrow we will be walking through the Maplewood School. So we're going to be meeting at 5 o'clock tomorrow at Maplewood. Everybody is welcomed if they'd like to come.
Okay, anything else? Seeing none. All right, we'll go right into our 6.1, our special education program and pre-K programs. Presentations. We have a lot of presentations this evening, so take it away.
I'll just set the table overall, just because the special education presentation will be brief. Amy Pillsbury is going to give us an update, and I don't know if Lorraine or others are joining in, but it's just kind of a quick check-in. Questions obviously make perfect sense, but know that we've got a bigger one coming. Second, I'm just going to do a couple quick reminders about strategic priorities and plans and how things are coming together. And then the biggest thing we're doing tonight, in my humble opinion, would be 6.3, which is looking at our 4 key performance measures and particularly honing in on learning, just kind of a good look at data and where we've been trending and where we are this year is it important. And this is something we want to get in the habit of doing regularly as we move forward. I will tell you that our data systems are not sufficient. And we talked about that before, but this was the latest test of piecing stuff together, but we are working on it. Stephanie Lafreniere and Sal Linez in particular, and trying to figure out, and we might need some outside group here, or it might be part of IT consulting efforts going forward. Are you good, Amy? Yeah, good, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, so used to being behind you. I'm not used to that. Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm Amy Pillsbury. I'm the interim special ed director, designee, building coordinator, all the fun things. Wasn't sure what title I needed.
Thank you, Amy. I should have explained that. Amy's doing everything and filling in wonderfully and doing a couple different jobs, and it's much appreciated.
You're welcome. All right, so I just did a brief overview of special education. Currently, you're going to see in our first slide, this is the report that was included in your January packet. So these are January numbers. So they're not accurate as of this time due to enrollment changes, due to students qualifying or disqualifying for special education. So this is just from January as an overview to see where we were, okay? Does anyone have any questions about that?
Just for the public, can you just further define what identified students
Yes.
is?
So these number of current identified students are students that have currently an IEP in place. So they are not in the referral process. They already have an established individual education plan.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, there we go. All right. So we have been working really hard within the district over the last 2 years to create sustained programming for special education within our school district. Previously, when I joined the Somersworth SAU 4 years ago, we had over 22, I don't know the exact number, 22 to 25 out-of-district students placed. Currently, we are at 16, and we are actually declining because of programs that we were building internally. So we wanted to explain a little bit about what those look like and why we are creating them. So as you can read, they are structured supportive environments where students can grow academically, but they're also receiving functional and life skills necessary for school beyond. So we are starting this from the Idlehurst grade levels all the way until our high school. Currently, our programs that we're working on are being designed to provide comprehensive individual continuation of services so that go along with their individual education plan. The building programmings that we're working on have appropriate staff numbers because that is required by the DOE, so that's why we have a good amount of staff. But it also determines the alignment of their service delivery related to their academics, behavioral communication, and related service needs within their individual education plans. We are strategically allocating certified staff and non-certified staff as we see the need per these programs. So currently we have programs. Our pre-K program is considered a certified program through the state of New Hampshire because we do take in a certain amount of students that have individual education plans that qualify for special education. We currently have a program at Idlehurst Elementary School that we are working on. Maplewood School is established, and then at our high school we have a postgraduate program for 18 to 22-year-olds because in the state of New Hampshire, if you have an IEP and you qualify, you can stay until the age of 22. Again, that's dependent on needs and it's a team decision to make. We are working on creating programs and exploring different options for our middle school and then for our high school 9th to 12th grade. These are two buildings that are areas we currently do not have programming in, but we are establishing it and we're in contact with the DOE about these programs on how to best create the programs and deliver instruction in them. One really important piece for people to understand about out-of-district placement, we get a lot of comments about that. So out-of-district placement is something that we think long and hard about before we do for any of our students. There's a lot of factors that take place before we do that. And like I said, we went from mid-20s to now we're currently at around 16 students out of district. So by building these programs over the year, we've been able to keep students in what we call the least restrictive environment, but also in their community environment, which is really important to us. Some outside factors that we have limited or sometimes absolutely no control out of for out-of-district placements are if there's different mental health and hospitalizations. Court placements is a really big one. Foster placement and move-ins. I think a lot of the time we ask questions about why are these numbers the way that they are. Sometimes we just get people that move to Somersworth and they really like our special education, so here they are. But that is some different things that determine out-of-district placements, just for anybody wondering. Does anybody have any questions about that? Not yet. Okay. Yeah, sure.
The purpose of moving from a large number of out-of-district placements to programs that we offer within district is twofold. Number one, to better meet the needs of the student, and number two, to save money, just to be crystal clear about that.
All right. So by talking to our special education teams at each building, we really wanted to drive home some really important pieces about being part of an IEP team. So when we talk about IEP teams, it is not just the individuals in the school working with your child. It is also you and your child are a part of that IEP team. Some things that we would really love to see happen, because as you know, it does take a village for every student, every child, is parents attending meetings at agreed upon times. Our team is very good at being flexible and offering different ways to hold meetings. We would love for parents to be in attendance. They are very important to their child's education. The next thing is communication with schools and staff. If things are happening, please communicate with us. Supporting your student's disability at home. We as a team are always open to offering suggestions of how you can support your student at home with outside services as well. Signing documentation in a timely manner. I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but we are audited by the DOE often, and we get some things called LEA determinations where they tell us how good we are at our jobs. So when we send home things for parents to sign, or guardians or ed surrogates, they need to sign them in a timely manner and get back to us, because if not, we get dinged on that. So please sign your documentation on time and send it back. If you need it to be sent to you via email through some sort of signature system, we can do that for you. We just prefer that you attend in person and want to talk to us and sign in person as well. We have some opportunities for volunteers, especially at our older programs. For example, our middle school and high school are adapting programs as of this year and working on them into next year, and they are really interested in careers, because that's the age where we start to explore career readiness and being a part of a community. So we'd love to have people reach out to our schools and offer their time to come in to talk about their different careers. We also, although we are not affiliated with the Special Olympics, that's often a misconception. Parents will call and ask how they can get their child into the Special Olympics. The Somersworth School District does not do it, but it is a nationwide program they can enroll in. We do have a middle school case manager who runs our Special Olympics here. His name is Frank Del Medico, and he is phenomenal. So if you want to be involved in Special Olympics, you can reach out to us and we can get you in touch with Frank. He's always looking for support, volunteers, and ideas. And the next piece is for just activities and events. We would love to see you at school during activities and events that your child is participating in, so you can see your child participating in those events. We just really would love some more parent involvement in our meetings. We have wonderful families and wonderful parents, and your child is just as important to us as they are to you. And we want to make sure that as a team, we're well-rounded and your child's being supported at school and at home. So always reach out to us, ask us questions, ask us for ideas. We would gladly give you answers, and then we'd also take some information back. We are a team and we want to work together as a team. I don't want to hit my next slide because I'm pretty sure it's cats. So that's my last slide. Does anybody have any questions?
I was just looking up when the New Hampshire Special Olympics is this year.
They typically happen in the springtime. I think last year we went and we watched some of our high schoolers. They were competing at the Hub. And I forget what they were competing about, but they were competing at the Hub, and it was really great because we got, what were they doing?
Bocce ball.
There you go. Yeah. And it was great. And they love to see our faces. And as community members attending Special Olympics so they can see you, really makes them so happy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions? I don't see any. Oh, yep.
I was just going to say thank you very much for answering my question ahead of time
You're welcome.
about, because I noticed that your chart for as of January 1 had 1,300 or 1,335, yet our enrollment current was 1,200. I'm like,
Yep.
where'd those 60 kids go? But you answered that it's a different way of measuring them. So
It is. Yep.
thank you.
All right. Anything else? No? Okay.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Thank you. Now it's you.
Should I go up there?
Yeah.
I'll go over there.
Oh, it's up to you. Yeah, when is the Special Olympics?
Agenda item 6.2 is strategic priorities and plans. I just want a brief but important reminder that there are kind of two big fundamental things happening. The strategic priority and plans around curriculum, instruction, assessment, facilities, operations, safety, personnel policies, a broad range of things that was in that 8.5-page draft that has been in multiple packets, which we'll tighten up to a page or two just so it's a little bit clearer. Those are things that we've been working on since last fall. We're a year and a half in. We continue. The board has been updated and involved in all this. Maybe a formal vote to just kind of bless it as our official plan would make sense when we have a tightened up, clearer version. Those are things we have been doing, are doing today, will do tomorrow, and are continuing to work on to improve our school district. Separately, parallel, different, we now have the Mayor's Commission on Reimagining and Redesigning the Somersworth School District, voted on by the school board to move in this direction, voted on by the, I don't know if it was voted on by the city council or the mayor just made the announcement, and the commission has begun and been named. We're filling all the spots now. We hope to have our first meeting in March. I'm meeting with the school board chair tomorrow to talk about board representation in this group, among others. The important thing to keep in mind here is this group is going to work aggressively and quickly. These are some of the things that came up in the budget process and other times. Do we restructure our buildings? Do we think differently about the school year? Do we think differently about high school graduation and the pathway to high school graduation? Do we think differently about middle school? Do we think differently about summers? And how do we do it? Implied in that is that we are not going to get a bigger budget, but that with the dollars we have right now, we have to look hard. The important thing is that this work is going to happen parallel to the day-to-day work of continuing to improve the school district. It's not just like, hey, everybody, just sit tight. We're going to have a plan in a year and a half, and hopefully it'll be sooner. These two things may merge together. The environment around us may improve. We may end up with some good ideas from this commission that feed into our plan, or we may say, you know what, the commission is the plan, and the things that are happening currently will fold into that. But the community is going to need to be integrally involved in this, and their commitment to the future of this district and to our school system. It's not a rhetorical question to say, do you want a high school? Do you want a school district in the time that we're in, and to kind of talk through what that'll look like. So I just want to remind folks of that, and we will revisit aspects of this as we move forward. Good. 6.3, I should say at the beginning, the Hilltopper Promise that was approved by the school board in the fall is our guide for all of this. It's just a question of whether we deliver on that through the improvement efforts that we're currently making, or if it might take something a little more drastic, a little bolder that comes out of this commission. But the Hilltopper Promise is what we're about. That doesn't change. That's a given. What we want to do for our kids and what we want to prepare them for. The second document behind the Hilltopper Promise is if these are the things that we're trying to do, how are we going to know how we're doing? And that's we called it Hilltopper Progress. Those are our 4 key performance measures, which are presence or attendance. You can't learn, you can't teach, you can't have a school system if folks aren't showing up. Number 2, you need a culture and climate that supports all of those things. Number 3, what's the data on learning? Where are the problems? Where's the growth? Where's the improvement? And number 4, what's our matriculation graduation rate data look like? And in particular, our number 1 measure is going to be that every student graduates with a plan and a self-reported satisfaction with that plan, as well as from their parents. And that process will begin this spring. Culture and climate, the second one, We're looking at disciplinary data, out-of-school suspensions, in-school suspensions, PBIS data. We've already put some good work into what this would look like, but we don't want it to be a tidal wave of, okay, that's great, now you've burdened me with so much data. We just want to get into like green, yellow, red for everything. Here's the key things that we're looking at. We will initiate the surveys that'll be an integral part of this spring. We had hoped to get started on that at the beginning of this school year. It was just too much, too fast. So that beginning with the end of this school year and into next school year, we'll have good, solid culture and climate data and better data systems. We're not going to focus on number 4, graduation and matriculation tonight, but we'll come back to that and just make sure everybody's comfortable where we are and where the survey's data headed. A lot of work, particularly Stephanie Lafreniere, Sal Linez, and Katie Kraus, in terms of gathering attendance data. I want to assure our school board and the entire community that we know when kids are in school and when they're not in school. That custodial safety responsibility of day-to-day, our system works in that regard. What it is horrible about is saying, where are we on chronic absenteeism to date? What is average daily attendance for this population? What is average daily attendance? And we're working on that aggressively to have better data systems in place. But I will just give you a very short report tonight that we believe staff district-wide attendance at this point through the year is at about 93%. And we're going to confirm that that data looks okay, which is good. I'd like to know where other districts are. We may be one of the districts that gets in the habit of regularly reporting this ahead of other districts. Katie, our business administrator, dissected that into a 10-page report on different schools and different days and different, which is really going to be helpful and valuable to kind of figure out where the problem areas are. But we're not going to throw all that at everybody. We're just going to say, look, is that green or is that yellow?
John, if I can just interrupt, just to clarify, our staff, you're speaking about staff employee.
Yes, district-wide.
Attendance.
Yes,
Okay.
93%.
93% on average. Yeah,
Yeah,
just wanted to
average
make
day,
clear.
93%.
Yep.
Kids across the district right now are closer to 90%. We've got days that are in the 80s. We have days that are in the low 90s. Depending on the month, it fluctuates between mid to high 80s and low 90s. Elementary school at the beginning of the year gets pretty close to 95, which is where we want to be. But we clearly need to do better. But this is a national issue. It's a New Hampshire issue. But boy, it'd be nice to be closer to 95. And we want to have a system that we know day to day just how we're tracking. The last thing I'll say is chronic absenteeism. By definition, we had a very good administrative team meeting, all the school leaders, the 16 of us that kind of in different capacities serve on the administrative team, and settled on 10% as chronic absenteeism. If you miss 10% of the school year, which is 18 days, the state threshold is lower. It's 10 half days. But we think that's a good number. Some districts have gone to 15%. We think 10% is a good number because if you miss 18 days, there's definitely a problem there. And I would just tell you for tonight, we'll come back to all this, but since we're reiterating what these 4 key performance measures are, we are running a little under 20% in terms of percentage of students who at this point in the year are chronically absent. It's actually January 30th data, so they had missed 10% of their school days through January 30th. I think the number was 10 days at that point on the way to what would be 18. The good news is chronic absenteeism using these same measures last year and the year before were over 25%. So we're moving in the right direction. Our concern is we don't have perfect data as to whether or not there's a spike in the spring that might pull these numbers up. But it is apples to apples. It's a percentage, but it's we hope we can stay there. That's all I just want to get us thinking. Attendance, climate and culture, learning, graduation, matriculation. I hope we'd be a little further along with these 4 key performance measures and maybe we have the whole dashboard by this point. We're not there yet. It's proved to be rough. But the focus tonight, I'm going to turn it over to Kat, is going to be to talk about learning at this point. And this is the thing I think we should take whatever time we need on to kind of get a handle on it. The data is not yet perfect. We're just getting started on iReady. We've only given the test twice. But there's a lot to be concerned about over the last decade or so as to where we are, which is the same in New Hampshire and it's the same nationally, but we're worried. There's also a lot to be optimistic about in terms of where we are right now and progress that we're making. So just to be clear about that. And I'm going to turn it over to Kat.
Okay, just one second.
Yep.
Board Member Jameson, your
I
question?
just wanted to make I had a data specific question, and I was more curious if you guys had considered this, and if not, you should probably look at it. Have you looked at Looker Studio for the dashboards?
We haven't that I know
Right,
of.
yeah, so write down Looker Studio. It's
Looker?
Google's dashboard platform. You can, even with rudimentary knowledge, you can build some cool stuff, so it's worth at least playing with.
The tricky
Should be
part for
free.
us is this point is what comes out of, because we don't want to replace Power School, we don't want to replace our HR Tyler system, we don't want to replace Swiss and the PBIS data that we're already using. We just want all of that to converge. That's what it does.
That's what Looker does. Live data is harder. You might be stuck with like an upload process periodically or like a reconnection, but it's worth at least exploring.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Any other questions about attendance and what? Okay, all right, no, thank you, thank you.
Kat Crosby, our assistant superintendent, in terms of curriculum, instruction, assessment, particularly working with our school building leaders, are the ones leading the charge and just kind of understanding where we are and improving both in literacy and math. Thank you. Thanks, Kat.
Is this working? Oh, perfect. I just got really excited because the clicker works, so now I can move around. I didn't want to have my back to everyone. It felt really awkward, so I'll just kind of walk around everywhere here. So thanks, John, for keying that up really, really well. I just want to start by saying we're going to take a look at some data tonight and from the state and from our district. And I think it's worth saying that data for teachers, and I've been a school teacher, I've been a classroom teacher, I've been a building administrator, and now SAU level administrator. And data feels very personal for us because we're with students day in and day out. And we know how hard teachers are working and the amount of care and effort and time they put into their instruction. So for someone who might go to a website and look at data, it might not feel as personal. It looks like a number. But for the educators, it's really the story that goes into that number. I'm going to try and do as good of a job as I can getting into that story a little bit for you to understand where this data comes from. And we're going to start by looking at the New Hampshire SAS proficiency data. So New Hampshire SAS is our state test. It's the mandated test that we have to take. A little description about it here for you. It's given in grades 3 through 8 and then the third year of high school. And so students are assessed on ELA, math, and science at grades 5, 8, and third year of high school. This test is given one time in the spring, usually very late April to late May is when this assessment is given. And then it's given again 1 year later. So for our students. And so the state has been tracking this data for quite some time. I'm going to give you the past 10 years for Somersworth and the state to just do a little comparison of where we've been, like John led with. We're concerned, not just the district, but as a state, as a nation of where we are with this. So we take a look here, first looking at our ELA proficiency data. You can see the blue bar is Somersworth, going back to 2016. We do have a gap in 2020 because of COVID. The green bar is the state. And so you can see that we have been performing a bit under the state prior to COVID, and coming out of COVID, that gap was pretty large, but has been closing pretty consistently with ELA across our district. And so the state average is about 55%. So if you think of that, 55% of New Hampshire students are proficient in ELA. That number, not a great number for the state, and currently for Somersworth, 41%.
I just want to reiterate, just for language, so this is, ELA is literacy, it's reading and writing.
Yes.
Basic reading and writing. And the 41% you see in 20, reiterate what Kat said, just so everybody's on board, because there's a lot. So 41% of our students being proficient is great. That is really good. The 59% are not is the concern in the varying degrees. But we have a lot of students succeeding and finding success, but we are struggling. And a lot of this is resources and coordination and district level work, to be honest with you, because of the great work, as Kat already pointed out, that our teachers are doing. It's stuff we talked about during the budget season.
Yeah, I was going to get to that, but thank you. You helped me get to it sooner. And I think just to reiterate how important it is that there are many factors that go into that data point, like John said. So we talk about resources, demographics, funding, access to curriculum materials, professional development for staff, all of those things that really go into that number. And then we take a look at math. Across the state and for our district. And again, you can see statewide and district-wide after COVID, right, that gap got bigger, and that percentage went down pretty significantly. And if you remember a few meetings back when we were talking about budget, John was mentioning how the importance of us wanting to focus on math curriculum and professional development, and the importance of having funding to do that. And this would explain that, the importance of having the opportunity to have curriculum and support teachers and give them what they need and deserve to have to do that instruction well in their classrooms. Because like I said in the beginning, they're working hard and they're doing a great job, but they need a lot of curriculum material and a lot of support that they currently don't have with professional development. So I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about district proficiency and growth data. So as John mentioned, we made a switch this year after a district-wide pilot last year for a district diagnostic to focus on, yes, proficiency data, because proficiency data is important, but also growth data, because growth data is equally as important, and knowing where our students are when they come in and where they are headed throughout the year and how we can respond to that data to support their learning. And so we chose to go with iReady. And I just want to give you a little background on iReady before I throw up the numbers so that you understand what this assessment does. So iReady is a diagnostic and it's computer adaptive. So just like the state assessment, that means that when students respond, the test actually adapts to their response. So if they answer a question correctly, the next question gets a little bit harder. If they answer it incorrectly, it gets a little bit easier. And so it's adapting in real time to them. It assesses them across grade level standards in both subject areas. So at the beginning of the year when students take the diagnostic, it's actually looking at end of year standards. So a second grader taking the assessment in September is looking at end of grade level standards when they take it. And then what it does is it pinpoints and identifies the current achievement level, but also the needs. So where an assessment like SAS will say, well, here is your achievement level. And that's pretty much where it ends. A diagnostic that looks at growth also looks at, well, now what are the specific needs of the students and instructional strategies that can be taught to help them grow? And how it works. So it's 3 times a year. So again, the difference from a proficiency-based assessment that happens at one period of time, this happens 3 times. So in the fall, students take it as an initial diagnostic. And that initial diagnostic also sets them on a personalized pathway as well to look at where some of those gap skills are and the type of instruction that is needed to help address those gaps. They then take it again in the winter, and you'll look at that data in a little bit, to look at growth. So from the fall to winter, what type of growth is happening across our district? Currently, we're looking at K through 8. Next year, we'll be adding in the high school with 9th and 10th grade. Again, it's adaptive, and then you get the results immediately. So as soon as the student is finished taking the assessment, their results are there. Teachers can go in, building administrators can go in, and you can see where students are performing and what type of instructional strategies might be helpful, and ways to address those needs, those area of needs. So why we use it? Again, it's not just about our students proficient, but where are the strengths and the needs? And what's important here too is a lot of times when we talk about the strengths and needs and we talk about supporting students' growth, many of us instantly go to how do we support students that are struggling? So students who might be showing that they're below grade level or multiple years below grade level. But what's equally important is what are we doing for those students who are above grade level or on grade level? What can we do to keep them on their growth path so that they're growing at the rate they should be growing as well? And so with an assessment like this, you can do that. We monitor that growth, not just the 3 times a year when we take the assessment, but we can continue to go in as students are on their pathways or doing lessons and see their growth over time. It actually helps us inform instructional decisions. So important because not just for intervention, but for core instruction, it's helping the teachers just understand what are some of the groupings that you might need in your class, what are some target areas as a whole class would be helpful to go back over. And so it's giving us more information about student learning than just a one-time assessment at the end of the year. And then we can evaluate the effectiveness of our core instruction and those supplemental programs that we're using. And so you'll get a range of information from this. So you'll get overall performance, so much like the SAS assessment. Here is where the student is performing relative to the grade level expectation. it breaks it down into bands. So you have anything from met or above grade level, early on grade level, 1 grade level below, 2 grade levels below, or 3 or more grade levels below. So you'll be able to see a range within your classroom and also within your school. Yes?
One quick one. Just for folks out there, grade level, right? Like, where does that, in your understanding, where does that information come from? Is it like a state assessed, like an average of who's at a certain grade level? Is it our own expectations of where they should be grade level, or is it pulling from something else?
Well, grade level is for the grade level state standards. So,
Okay.
so like when they take this assessment in the fall, they're being compared against the end of grade level standards. Where are they at the beginning of that grade level? Are they ready for that grade level content? Are they below that? Are they meeting that? Or are they above that?
Okay. Thank you.
And then something that's really important about data, and this is one of the challenges when we have an assessment that happens one time of the year, at the end of the year, is when you get that data as a classroom teacher, as a building administrator, you want to be able to respond to it. I have this data, I see where my students are, what can I do now to address what I'm seeing in that data? And so these are all the different ways that we can use that data to help with students, helping them grow in their learning. And so differentiating instruction, those interventions and enrichment, as I mentioned, equally important. Strategic grouping is a big one, right? Some class sizes, we have a large number of students in a class with a wide variety of need. And we don't have lots of extra people and in the rooms. And so for teachers to be able to get some support with how do I group students for some small group instruction, and then to track progress towards goals. And I just want to remind everyone, like John said, we just started this. So we rolled this out in September. And so it's very new for our teachers. And they have really worked hard to ask thoughtful questions about the data and how we respond to it and to learn about the program. We've had professional development, and we have another session coming up on Friday as well, which is all about how do I respond to my growth data now from that mid-assessment? What can I do? All right, so we'll take a look at some of that data. So I have it broken down by district and then by school. So I want to explain this a little bit. I'm going to come over here so I can point a little bit closer. So if you're looking at this here, and as I showed, these were the bands here, so either meeting or above early on, 1 grade level, 2 grade level, or 3 or more below. So the blue bar here is the fall, and that doesn't work very well in there, fall, and then green is the winter. And so one of the things that's important to know and understand about the fall diagnostic is that 1 grade level below is actually where we'd want students to fall because they're end of grade level standards. So students that are performing 1 grade level below, for the majority of them, they are ready for grade level content. So when you look at that, right, in the fall, our numbers, and then in the winter, in just a few months' time, in a new program, and for some of our buildings with new technology that we've just brought on board, we're seeing a good trend here in the right direction. Right? We want these bars here to get smaller, and we want these 3 bars over here to get taller, ultimately. So, and this is ELA, so English Language Arts, and then this is math. And I think it's important to say, just like we saw with our state data, right, when you look at the beginning where we're starting in ELA versus math, it continues that conversation of the importance of focusing on math curriculum. Oop. Go back one. So this is broken up by school now. So K2, so Idlehurst Elementary, okay? And so you can take a look here again, ELA and math. And I want to make sure we understand that 3 or more grade levels below, you can't be 3 or more grade levels below when your first grade level is kindergarten. So many times the data will sometimes look really skewed, like, wow, that's incredible. And it is, because they're working hard over there at Idlehurst. But also, you can't be 3 or more, so you don't have to worry about the bar in that one for a while. But you can see here, right, again, we're really trending in a really nice direction here with our growth data, ELA and math. And you'll see this trend continuing throughout. And then 3 through 5, so Maplewood, again, we're trending in that really great direction. This one was really fascinating to look at. If you think about looking at these bars here and 3 or more grade level below, that's where we shifted all those kids up to met or above grade level this winter. So it was pretty awesome to look at for Maplewood. And then again, math on that side. This is just a different way to look at it, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on. This actually comes from iReady, and this is broken out by grade level. What I want to point out here, which is the exciting part, is we want to see the red bars getting smaller and the yellow and green bars getting bigger. Ultimately, that's what you want. You want to see the grade level or ready for grade level increasing and the below grade level or 3 or more years off grade level decreasing. And in this first go around with iReady, we're seeing that trend. So that's good. And then that's math for K through 5. Same thing we're seeing, right? Big increases here. And again, kindergarten data, because they come in not having had exposure, you tend to see a big jump like that from the fall to the winter. And then looking at middle school. Okay, so again, ELA and math, looking at similar patterns. You'll see this across the district, similar patterns, making that growth in the right direction. The bars on this side getting bigger, which we want to see, and the bars on the right getting smaller. But again, that same trend that we're seeing when we talk about coming into grade level with skills. And looking at it this way again, right? We're seeing those red bars get smaller, yellow and green increasing. And this is math. So I've already said this, but I don't think I can say it enough, the importance that we are focusing not just on proficiency data, but on growth data as well. It's important to know where our students are, absolutely. And we need to know that and to be able to respond to it. But we also need to know where they're entering, what they need, how we can meet that need to help them grow to get to where they need to be. So looking at both, it's just a more complete, equitable picture of a student and their learning and the instructional impact. Now, John, I don't know if we have time because it's 7 o'clock already. I was going to take you through the platform a little bit and show you what a teacher, what a building administrator can see when they go in and look at student data. So I can do that, although I'm on a different computer.
Interject one thing just to remind. So about testing, just big picture here, important for folks. So we started with the New Hampshire SAS test. We are not fans of it. It's not particularly useful. We reported it because that's the historical data that we have, and we wanted to show it to you, and that's what the state is using. If it were up to us, and we will probably approach the commissioner and or the governor and say, look, we'd like a waiver from this testing because the state recognizes iReady. The state likes iReady. We don't want to over-test. We want to test just the right amount. The SAS is not particularly useful to us. iReady is an instructional tool, a curricular tool, a diagnostic tool, and it kind of merges testing in with curriculum and process. So that's where we're headed. Former school board members will remember NWEA. That was our former iReady. We looked at that as a potential for continuing with, and although there was not perfect agreement across the district, iReady was the winner. And NWEA, unfortunately, I used to be a big fan of NWEA, but they've fallen behind. So iReady is what we're going to look at over and over again. There'll be other ways we test, but that is our focus moving forward. We'll give you SAS data from time to time because the state uses it, but honestly, that's not what we care most about. But we have an obligation to just kind of share it with you. Just wanted to interject that.
Okay, so I'll take you a little bit through the platform. I am using a demo account. So these are not real teachers or real students that we are looking at, but it'll give you a great idea of what teachers and administrators can see when they log into the platform. again, a reminder that teachers have only been at iReady for a few months, so it's very new, but they are delving in and asking really great questions and getting comfortable with the platform and the reports that come with it. So I'm going to delve in here. So because we're really talking a lot about math tonight, I am going to actually take us into some math data of a student. And so what I can see as a district administrator and what building principals can see is you can see your whole school. And so what you first see is where are you in terms of being at or above grade level all the way to 2 or 3 or more years off grade level. Because this is a district account, I see lots of schools. So I'm going to go into Cypress K through 8 here. And I'm going to go to grade 5. And I'm going to pick Jay Lee's class. And I decided on Justin for the student. So one of the things you'll see when you log in as a teacher is it'll show you in all the domains which level students are at. So some levels will show up as green across the board. They're proficient in all areas, but some students have different gaps. And so you'll be able to see if there are students who need some extra support or might need intervention. And so I picked out Justin a little bit. And so when I look at Justin and I look at Justin's data, there are a couple of things I wanted to point out. So the first is where you see that blue bar. That's looking at the growth data. And what's really important about this is that there are 2 types of growth we're looking at with iReady. We're looking at typical growth. So typical growth that's the average you would expect the student to grow in a year. However, growing a year when you're 2 or 3 years behind is not going to close that gap. So one of the things that iReady focuses on is that stretch growth. In order to start closing that gap, you really need to meet that stretch growth. And if you can meet your stretch growth, then you're starting to get on the path to becoming proficient. And so it's important that we're focusing not just on typical growth, which is wonderful, but also on that stretch growth. How are we pushing them to grow faster? So I wanted to point that out. It's really important. Then as a teacher, what I can do is I can look at my student, Justin, and I can see here in the different domains how he's performing and areas he might need support. So let's go to measurement and data. If I click here, it will bring me down and show me on what Justin can already do with the standards. What standards is Justin already meeting based on his assessment? And then what are some next steps for instruction for Justin to help close some of those gap areas? And so you could click on a number of anything here, really. We'll just click this one. So when I click on it, I'm then led to, I might have an actual lesson that comes up that I can do here with Justin. I might have what's called Toolbox. It'll tell me what lesson to go to in the Toolbox. And so teachers have access to what's called Toolbox. You can go into any grade level. It might say that Justin needs to go to grade 3 for this skill, lesson 20. And as a teacher, I go into Toolbox, I can pull that lesson up, or maybe in an intervention group, they can use that Toolbox as well to support learning. And so it just allows me to have more at my fingertips to support Justin's learning. And I'm not going to get too much further, because I could be on this for hours with you. But the other great thing, too, and again, we're just delving into this part, having just taken the winter assessment. But there's grade level planning, where it'll actually take students and put them in groups based on how they've done on the assessment for skills as well. But we're just the tip of that. We're really just getting into it. But this was one of the reasons I think that iReady came out ahead of the other 2 platforms, because with other platforms, we got growth data that was there, but in order to be able to respond to it, you had to go somewhere else or to a different platform or to a different vendor and purchase something different to link it to it, where here, this has the ability to have it right there at your fingertips. And not that it's the end all be all. And again, this is one data point, it's one tool, but it provides at least something there for the teachers. And as we know, time is something teachers don't have the luxury of. And so when you're looking at a class that might have a range of 5 grade levels in it, to be able to differentiate and find lessons to make sure you're meeting those needs is almost impossible. It's an impossible task we ask of teachers. So to have the ability to have things at our fingertips that are already there for us to use is one way that we can respond to it. It's not the only way. So I think that's it, John. Yeah, I think I'm wrapped up.
Great. Thank you. Any questions or, yeah, Board Member Prescott? Oh, just put on your microphone.
Going back to the middle school growth data, it seemed like there was a large jump in students who were 3 grade levels below compared to elementary school. Is that something that you guys looked into at all?
We haven't met yet to talk about growth data. In fact, Friday is when we're going to delve into growth data with our consultant from iReady. I'd have to go back to the slide, though. Let me know when I get there.
Yeah, one more, I think. But it was like the graphs, not these graphs, but
This one?
yeah. Like from these graphs to from 5th grade, there's like a huge jump from 3 grade levels or more below. Then if you go back one more. Yeah.
So you're looking at, winter being 14%, and then you're looking at, yeah. So, I mean, there could be a number of reasons for that change in data. And I think when you're looking at especially fall data, your fall data tends to be lower, as they're coming back. Someone, attribute that to summer slide. But also grade level expectations from elementary to middle school, those standards become, there's definitely a lot more content when you get up to middle school. And so those standards become more challenging as well. So when you're looking at taking an assessment that's doing it based on end of grade level, so end of grade 6 versus end of grade 5. We also have to attribute to the population could have changed. And I think that's another important thing when we talk about proficiency data. An example, when you get a percentage of proficiency in your district and you have 75 students in your 3rd year of high school that take an assessment versus a district that has 350 students in their 3rd year of high school, that does have an impact. One student performing poorly on that assessment can have a greater impact in that sense. So,
add one other quick thing too. At Maplewood Elementary, you have grades 3 through 5 combined, and grade 3 is still a place where it's still hard to be significant grade levels below. So if you think about because it's cumulative, unfortunately, for students that fall behind. So in the 3 to 5 year data, it's biased by the fact that in 3rd and 4th grade, it's kind of in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade that students that have slipped, unfortunately, start to really spike. If you had grade level data, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, I think you'd just see a trend rather than a jump in that transition.
Board Member Jameson?
Yeah, I was just going to say to respond to that as well that, so what I do for a job is actually look at individual student data and try to attribute it to what is going on and try to figure out what's going on. And the number of factors that influence that are so high that it sounds like a good conversation to have, but you could really be shuffling out a lot of pieces of information beyond instruction as just like a general. And then the other piece too that I think kind of echoes what John says is that early intervention is the gold standard for a reason. It gets harder to move kids who are behind the older they get, unfortunately.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions or insights? Thank you so much, Assistant Superintendent Crosby. This was a significant data information. I think my only question for the community and to know is that when will families be able to see information and kind of roll out to the greater community to be able to see their students' progress and information?
Yep, so it varies by building and just different buildings in terms of just getting this up and running. And so because it's our first year, so some have sent home like a parent report and others are waiting until we finish our professional development to truly understand, because we want to be able to answer questions as well from parents and answer them accurately. But definitely as we move into next year, year two, making sure that we have the parent reports that will go out that will show parents where their students are on these benchmark assessments.
Great. Thank you.
I just want to reiterate, it's been said a couple of times, but I think it's important just to make sure it's clear. As a district, our responsibility is to all 1,300-ish students, absolutely, positively. But I just do want to stress, particularly for parents that are watching, that we have a tremendous amount of success, and students that are performing well and getting to where they want to go is a given. We just need to do better across the board. Resources, attention, district-level coordination are among the things that we're really stepping up, as well as just having better data so that our teachers are fully supported in the classroom to get the job done. But there's good signs of hope, and we're not going to fall back on the fact that our data, like the rest of the state, the rest of New England, and the rest of the country, has slipped over the last years. It's so what? Let's get out in front of everybody, but it is a national trend.
All right, moving right into policy. We have two policies for second reading. The first, 7.1, JH, attendance, absenteeism, and truancy. Do I have a motion to read these by title only, please?
I make a motion to read these two policies by title only.
Second.
Second.
Great. All in favor? Aye. Oh, yeah. Board Member Brown, if you can take these two away. Thank you.
The first one for second reading is policy JH, attendance, absenteeism, and truancy.
All right. So looking for
The motion that we accept this policy.
yes. Looking for that motion. Or did you make the motion?
I made a motion. I need a second.
Great. Do we have a second? Second. All right. Any discussion? Can I just ask what was the major changes in this, just for a general? It looked like there was a couple title changes: home to school coordinator instead of truant officer. Yep.
Yes, I can at least speak to that. Kat has been helping us catch up on
Yep.
where our policies do not mirror the New Hampshire School Boards Association.
Yep.
Last major change, I think, was in 2013, because there were amendments to RSA 189:34. But our title is home to school coordinator, not truant officer. So that was a difference. And also, and that you'll see that sprinkled in two other locations, the home to school coordinator. And then the last paragraph, policy development, is not in the New Hampshire School Board Association policy, but we revised it because this is what we do. We send the policy to the board for a public meeting and allow for input.
Yep.
So that's what the policy development was revised to do. So
Yes, and it says here in red that 2
if I
weeks
missed anything,
given.
I will defer to Kat.
This was at our February meeting. We gave even more than 2 weeks. Okay, thank you. Motions on the table, first and second. All in favor of adopting this policy, say aye.
Aye.
Wonderful. All right, second one.
The second policy is JLCJA, Emergency Plan for Sports-Related Injuries and Additional Protocols for Athletics Participation. I make a motion to accept this policy as written.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Appreciate it. No unfinished business this evening, but we have some new business. 9.1 is a preliminary discussion and an MOU between Indonesia Community Connect and SAU 56. Superintendent Shea, would you like? We can both speak about it, but sure. We when was this? Was it last week? We had a meeting with representatives from ICC and the Indonesian community to have a memorandum of understanding between our SAU and the community as a kind of a cultural responsive. Really, just we're the second largest Indonesian community in after New York, and I think it was just kind of fortifying our relationship and our connection formally. So this isn't for new business. This isn't anything actionable right now. We just wanted to say it publicly and working towards that. So any input, we'll get more information about what this is. It's not a change in policy. It's not a change in practice. I think it's just more of an agreement and an understanding and more of a representation between the Indonesian community and this group and our school district. Yep.
I'll only add one thing, and that's that of the strategic improvement direction, the bigger stuff that I alluded to earlier that we've all been working on, the pre-K or really birth or prenatal through high school graduation effort to provide better wraparound services, enrichment services focused on mental well-being, physical well-being. This ICC, everything on the ICC MOU is basically that, but particularly for our immigrant population of Indonesians, it fits perfectly with that idea. And it's things that particularly well-resourced schools in terms of helping parents learn English if they don't speak English at home, offering translation and interpretation services, gatherings, events, the kind of stuff that our good faculty and staff do around the edges, always pitching in, always doing more. But maybe we get to a place with some grant or funding or assistance where we have a dedicated individual kind of focusing on these things. It was all just good common sense stuff that we know we need to do better at. And it's not just about our Indonesian community, but they're our biggest immigrant community, and they'll set the example for the whole district, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. Wonderful. My background on MOUs, we're not looking at a financial piece right now or a sharing of sensitive data or anything like that, just symbolically stating what's.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. And if anyone wants any involvement or feedback, please let John or I know, or both of us. And it's really about that. It actually is just kind of a little bit more also for state and kind of federal governments and international embassies to kind of see that as well, the Indonesian attaches and those types to have maybe visits and things like that, the formalization of that, but no money and no other things like that. Any other questions about this one? All right. I'm excited for 9.2, our possible documentary film project. So I think Bill will have to come out from behind the curtain.
You want me to take care of the things back there, Bill?
Yeah, we'll send John back. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome to the podium.
Ooh, it's different. It's different. Thank you for giving me a moment. I'll try to keep this very brief, just introducing you to the idea of doing a documentary about what's happening here. And by here, I mean in this city. But actually, I mean across the state. I also mean across this country. Sitting in the back room, I get a, I don't make any decisions. I just get to watch it and listen to it and hopefully choose the right camera at the right time. Let's see, am I on the right camera? I'm not. I think I'm on you guys, who are much more interesting than me. Where's my home? Oh, there it is. Go to here. As I'm playing with the technology, I'd like to introduce you a couple of people who I would love to rope into this project. People who have extraordinary talents. Rebecca Taylor-Henning and Doug Henning, come on up. They are the creators of some shows you might have seen. I don't know if you've seen Below Decks, but they created that show. Doug is a veteran. Doug is a veteran of many, many shows that you've seen, presumably. Some shows we don't talk about, right? Oh, we don't really watch The Bachelor, do we? No, we don't watch The Golden Bachelor, but The Great Race, another terrific show. Process. Doug is just a phenomenal cinematographer and camera operator. Rebecca cut her teeth on reality shows in the first wave of reality shows with MTV and Road Rules. These are people who I'd love to. I think my camera is this one. There we are. Are we on now? I think we should be on, but we can't see it there. as John was speaking in some of the meetings earlier this year, and as he spoke to us when he was the principal of Somersworth High School, I thought his idea of how we can change, how we can see where this school, where this district might go to, and let's be in on this journey together. And as he, in a visioning session around tables here, said, I think something's happening here. And something's happening in education, and something's happening in America. Those graphs, we talked about the pandemic and the profound effect on education that things like that can have. I'm a documentary filmmaker. I don't know if you know, I've got an office across the street, and I did a documentary about America's first institution for people with developmental disabilities. I followed Bodie Miller for many years as he became the greatest ski racer in the world, and that film is Michaela Schifrin's favorite film. So those are my gold medals. And these folks, I think, are really also thinking that there's something very special happening in this city. And so I'm proposing with my people, through my organization, to do a documentary about what's happening here, both on the school side as well as the city side, with really vital, important decisions about how we see what is public and what we must do together. And with very real considerations of the cost of doing that and how can we do that. So I'm suggesting we start tomorrow and jump into this. Of course, there are lots of questions to answer. There are lots of questions you might have. Well, wait a minute, how might this be done? We're a not-for-profit organization, Coraway Film Institute, also known as Some City, and this project I'm proposing as the public of Some City. I would love to, we're not looking for any money from the city or this school board, although I'll take the $10 because I got to get gas for getting home. But we are looking for your support, your affirmation that looking at these things is a good and important idea. So that's why we're here today, to simply introduce that. Did you folks want to say anything to?
I mean, I'll answer any questions if anybody has it, but I do think it's. I think when Bill reached. Oh, sorry. I think that, just to answer it ahead of it being asked, I think that what drew me to this town and this district, and this project in particular, is that it is perfect. It's the perfect, for me, looking at it as a docuseries producer, and a documentary producer. Well, I'm not doing this, Bill.
This isn't helping you, Bill.
I know, this isn't good for you. Is that it could be any city anywhere, right? But I grew up here. I grew up in Elliott, went to Marshwood. Cut my teeth with him at Coraway. But if we have the full support of the town and the students and the school and everybody else, it's a perfect place to do something like this, because all eyes are on New Hampshire. There's so many changes happening. It's just, it's the perfect storm for me. When he called and asked if I would be interested, that's why I said yes, because to me it fits perfectly. So.
Thank you. Any questions? And I'd be, if you have any questions and would like to have a conversation, I'm across the street. You can find me, and I'd love to speak with any of you as you have thoughts about what this might be.
That's incredible. Welcome. Thank you for coming. And I think that in my time here, moved from Boston 18 years ago, I have a senior that got into a lot of schools but just wants to work on a boat. So, I'm familiar with that. It's all right. It's good. It's all good. I tout this community as a lighthouse district a lot, and sell it on its what we are and what we kind of who we are and what we can be and all those things. So I think it's one of those things that I was really excited about this. There will be questions about what it is, but we're kind of this microcosm of a lot of things. And we're small, but we have a lot of the same situations as many people in the state, in the country, But what's interesting is that our diversity, our kind of struggles, it runs the gamut throughout all of it, and we're small enough to not be overwhelmed, but to be really real about, are we going to have a education? Is it gonna be the same? Are we gonna have schools? Are we gonna be able to fund these things? And I think in this world of media and kind of connection and maybe to implore through storytelling is really powerful now, to be able to do that. And that's how you kind of reach people on that way. But any other board members? Board Member Brown, and then Board Member Jameson.
I frequently will praise our school leadership because I think they are fantastic. And I have long also thought that our community is special because we are so close-knit in this group. And I also feel that after, 30 years of the Claremont lawsuit not making any headway in the court system or the legislature, we've got to think outside of the box. And is a story like this going to start changing the public opinion? And we have the right people in place. I mean, I frequently have mentioned, John's TED Talk, thinking outside of the box. We've got the right people, the right stakeholders at the table. So I think this is a great confluence. Just thank you very much for your efforts too. We're all in it as a village. Thank you.
That was like a really heartfelt one, and now I'm gonna be a little silly. Sorry. No, I get inundated all day with messages from something called my cousin chat, which is a bunch of millennial girls, and so I hear a lot about Below Deck. So they're very supportive of this idea. So
You already reach out and give a thumbs up.
no, I just was like, what? I was like, what is this? And they were like, what? No, yes, do it. All right.
Okay. Awesome.
What you mentioned, Board Member Brown, when I did a documentary on America's First Institution for People with Developmental Disabilities, and I went to the superintendent of the institution, fully saying, "Get out of here." And as a matter of fact, the higher-ups in Massachusetts said, "Get out of here," because they still remembered Titicut Follies. And that was an investigative journalism piece. And so they were afraid that I was going to do the same thing, but that's not the kind of storytelling that I do. I mean, I think that's powerful storytelling. But I was very surprised that the superintendent of the institution said, yes, we need to look at our history. We need to understand it. And it's similar to what I see happening in this community. I also taught in Portsmouth. And this community, when I came up here, had a willingness to look at who we are and where we're going. And that's vital. That's vital for really good and truthful storytelling, as well as vital and powerful communities and cities. So I really appreciate what I've seen here, and I think it'd be a very powerful place to really sink our teeth into what's really happening here.
I mean, I think you put it really well. The power of storytelling is incredible, right? And it's something like we all know why Somersworth is great, and yet there's certain things that we communicate the message from this, or from just the community at large is really difficult. So we need storytellers, right? Art's not just a mirror; art is a hammer. And so, I'm looking forward to seeing what you share out. I'm all in support of it. So.
Thank you so much for coming over the river and north a little bit. And this is exciting. I think it's just great. When I spoke with Bill, it's just great. We do things very publicly here. Just kind of how we roll, kind of keeping it out in the open and coming here and being able to speak about this, and not just what it is, but there may be questions that come to us about what's going on. So we'll be in hopefully constant dialogue. But my door is open. I'm excited about the potential of this, and thank you, Bill, thank you both. Yeah, thank you.
Can I just ask
of course, yes.
process question? So would we expect a board vote on this and how we take next steps? Bill's ready to start tomorrow, but I just want to,
I think it's, unless there's hesitation to halt, I think it's a general agreement. If we'd like to take a vote, I'm not sure exactly, we would be voting on, in support of this, I think would be good. And so I would make a motion to, support the, how would you like me to title it?
We're calling this, the working title is The Public of Some City.
Yeah, I would support Bill Rogers and friends, the public documentary project as a board, and just looking for a second on that. Yeah. Okay. Any discussion about this? All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. Make it
Thank
official.
you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, 9.3 is our tentative calendar last day. This is just to kind of put it on the notes, get it out there as a motion. It would be June 17th.
Last day for kids would now be on Wednesday, June 17th, not Tuesday, June 16th, so one day later. And the teacher workshop day moved back a day. And kindergarten will end a day before whenever the last day falls.
Okay, so it would be like 1 through 11. Grades 1 through 11 would be June 17th and kindergarten June 16th. Yeah, all but kindergarten. And right, so was that clear enough, or should I make another motion? Okay, do I have a second on that tentative calendar?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye, thank
Aye.
you. Thank you, thank you. All right, tomorrow, walkabout Maplewood. Budget, March 24th, at the SAU Central Office. That joint city school board.
That's actually at the,
Oh,
it's
it's
here.
here.
Because we're going to do it right before the joint workshop with city council. So
Oh,
it's
great.
here, not central office.
Okay, so it'll be in the fishbowl.
Yes.
Thank you, Katie. All right, so right before the workshop at 6 on the 24th here at City Hall, and our next school board meeting's March 31st. Any public comments this evening by anyone? Be happy to hear you. Welcome.
Doug McNally, principal of Maywood Elementary School. Just wanted to sort of send it out there to the community. We're holding a second grade family night at Maplewood on the 24th of March at 6 o'clock. All the third grade teachers will be there. I'll have some students answering questions, and they'll give families a tour. It's just sort of a first introduction to Maplewood for the kids coming over
Great.
from Idlehurst. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. What time is that?
6 o'clock,
6 o'clock.
March 24th.
24th.
Oh, yeah, and we're having a math night this week. Man, lots of things going on. When this week?
Yeah, what if we wanna go?
Thursday, we're having a math night at 6 o'clock at Maplewood. Come do some math with us.
That sounds so exciting.
Well, laugh.
I think we all,
I love to do
after the
math.
data this evening, yes, we will. Let's all do the math.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Devin.
Thank you. I don't know. It's just fun math. Any other comments this evening? Any other comments by board members? Any final? Yes, board member Jameson.
I just wanted to say that while I know that we are making moves on budget and school funding as a community, I think I would be remiss if I didn't point out the number of communities right now that are facing their own budget crises, and I just think that it doesn't hurt to remind people that if all of the schools are having budget crises, it's probably not the individual towns and districts. It's probably a larger systemic issue at the state level. And I just looked around and realized that I'm absolutely preaching to the choir, but anyone at home, if you're listening, it is a indication of a much larger issue that needs to be addressed at the state level. Thanks.
Yes. Yes.
I think thank you for that reminder. I think as much as the choir knows it, it's a great reminder that the talking point isn't just like, oh yeah, everything's crappy, right? It's like, oh yeah, no, let's, the next step for action is, can you help us and call this, can you advocate with us? So thank you.
That's great. All right. Anyone else? Go Bearcats tomorrow against Rochester. Got the community behind you. Best of luck. And also to our incredible high school spirit cheer teams going to states on Thursday. They are phenomenal. We have some amazing students, and just the ability is incredible. Please don't lose sight of that. There's challenging budget times, challenging funding times for sure, but it's these kids are kind of knocking it out of the park. So with that, we have a non-public? Nope. Motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.